And our educational series on the decision about moving forward with QuickBooks Online or moving on to Zoho One for your business. And we're going to talk about some of the basic parameters. You as a business owner, if you're watching this, you are probably now on QuickBooks Desktop. You got a decision to make. How do you form that decision? Please welcome Ann Jaggert, the owner of Breakthrough Solutions. And Ann, what's the first thing they need to think about?
Hi, Glenn. Well, the first thing you want to think about, of course, is pricing, that you can afford the product, and we have a video talking about that. The second thing you want to think about is the migration considerations. Is it easy to migrate to this product or not?
Well, what's involved? What do you mean by migration? You mean?
Oh, great question. So migration would be, if you've already been on QuickBooks Desktop, you've got history, transactional history, you've got balances, you've got customers, vendors, items in the system. And to start with a new system, you may want to be able to, well, in some cases, you're going to need certain data, like balances from your old system moving into your new system. But you may want to leverage some of that information and bring more of it over to the new system.
So, for example, if I have 500 customers on my QuickBooks Desktop, I don't want to have to type them in again.
Exactly.
Exactly. So it's bringing that list over, whether you're bringing it to QuickBooks Online or whether you're bringing it to Zoho, you still have to migrate that data. Am I correct?
That is correct, Glenn. Yeah. And one thing to consider when you're thinking about QuickBooks versus Zoho is QuickBooks has a utility. It actually has a utility to migrate the data over from QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online. And from what we've seen, it's pretty good. It's pretty solid. There may be some little tweaky things you need to do to make it right. And if you hire a good consultant who can really make sure that that happens correctly, it's pretty simple. It's not really a big involved project.
And if I understand correctly, though, it will bring across what you've done.
Exactly.
But what it won't do is start you on the things you haven't done. There's all kinds of things that the online offers. If you want to automate, you can automate, etc. But it's an opportunity. It's not given.
That is exactly true. That there will be options that you don't have in QuickBooks Desktop that you're going to want to take advantage of in QuickBooks Online. And so there will be a learning curve involved with learning. The screens there'll be a lot of things that are similar between desktop and online, but there will be some things that really look and feel differently. So there will be some improvements as well.
I just want to clarify that what you just said, because I thought, well, if they go from QuickBooks to QuickBooks, there's nothing to learn. But you're saying yes, there is. And my other thought was that they go to QuickBooks to Zoho. How big of a learning curve is that?
Well, there's a lot of similarities between QuickBooks and Zoho, but there's some things that are pretty different. So the first thing is migration. There's not a utility between, at least at this time. And we're all hoping that eventually Zoho is able to create a utility between between QuickBooks Desktop and Zoho for loading at least the opening balances, but that still is not something that's available. So if you're thinking about QuickBooks, there's a utility that will bring things over. It's just checking to make sure that it did it correctly. With Zoho, you really are implementing a new piece of software. And when you implement a new piece of software, there are some things you can export from QuickBooks and then import into Zoho. But you kind of have to take it step by step by step. And it's a really good idea to have a consultant to help you with that.
So if I understand correctly, going to Zoho One, though it
Or Zoho Books,
or
even
Zoho
Zoho
Books,
Books.
going the Zoho route
Yeah.
is going to have more involvement than moving forward to QuickBooks Online. It's a bigger project.
I would say so because you don't have that migration utility.
Right, right. And what about getting help? What about getting bookkeeping help, comparing QuickBooks to a Zoho solution?
So yes, you will find Intuit had kind of a monopoly in terms of small business accounting in the US and even many other countries overseas. It was such a monopoly. So most accountants in the US are trained in QuickBooks, at least if they work with small businesses. They are trained in QuickBooks. You have to hunt a little more for an accountant. I hate to say it, but QuickBooks accountants, bookkeepers are a dime a dozen, but Zoho accountants and bookkeepers, you sometimes have to search for them. They are out there, but it's just not pervasive in the way QuickBooks is.
Right, and I just want to clarify, Breakthrough Solutions has both.
Yes,
You've
we
got
have both.
expertise in QuickBooks and you've got expertise in Zoho. So you bring both of those skills to the table.
That's right. Yes, that's absolutely true. And, you know, we, in general, we like, our preference for most of our clients is Zoho, but there are times when QuickBooks Online makes absolute sense. So, for example, if, pricing and migration is a real big issue to you, and the learning curve. So think of it this way, that QuickBooks Desktop is going to be more like QuickBooks Online than it is Zoho, but it's still going to be different. And then Zoho is going to be, it is double entry accounting, so there's more similarities than not. But if you're not an accountant, you might say, "Oh, Zoho seems really different." And so, so if you're really, really kind of, my world has been QuickBooks for 20 years, and you first look at QuickBooks Online, you might be like, "Oh, that seems different," or Zoho, "Oh, wow, that seems really different." But what we have experienced is that the UI for Zoho is very user-friendly, and both clients and my team have told me, over and over again, that they actually find Zoho more intuitive to use than QuickBooks Online.
So I'm just going to summarize then. If I'm the CFO of a small company and we currently use QuickBooks Desktop and I've got a decision to make, it really comes down to, where do I want to take the company? If we're quite happy having an invoicing system that keeps track of our billings, and that's all we want from the computer, then we might as well take the easy route and go with the QuickBooks Online. If we see an opportunity to, hey, let's kick it up a notch, let's take our business to another level, Zoho One provides the tools that can help with that. And a simple example is customer relationship management. QuickBooks has a billing system. Zoho gets you working with and developing your marketplace. So there are differences in the outcomes if you wish to use the tools, which requires time, effort, and money.
Very true, Glenn. Absolutely.
So I'm just going to summarize this video. For the decision maker that has to now choose which direction do I go with my QuickBooks Desktop, they have to consider who they are, they have to consider what they want, they have to consider what they're prepared to do. If they want to expand their business, well, that takes time and effort and money. So all these things need to be considered to put together a plan for an easy path to move forward. And if I understand, that's something that Breakthrough Solutions can help people with.
Absolutely. So if it's the path of least resistance, moving from QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online, we can help with that. If you have more needs that really go beyond what QuickBooks can offer, and you're really interested in what Zoho could provide that really can help your business to scale up and go way beyond anything that QuickBooks can do, then we are also experts in Zoho.